If you were looking to add solar to your RV, then maybe this video will help you out because it'll show you just how much power things consume in an RV, like your air conditioners, refrigerators, and more. So I'm going to show you my RV setup, and this applies to a 30 amp or even a 50 amp RV. It just kind of gives you an idea of how much solar and also batteries are needed to be able to run everything in an RV. And a quick look at what powers my RV is this 3600 watt inverter along with 3 5 kilowatt hour batteries for 15 kilowatt hours total. Okay, so just to give you an idea, it's 10:45 almost on a Friday. And our current conditions are relatively good, so our skies have a little bit of high clouds, slight haze, but overall the conditions are pretty good and it's almost 80 degrees out already. So at the moment I have 2 of these Renogy 400 watt panels out here for a total of 800 watts. Now I didn't optimize these panels, I just basically placed them into one spot. So as the sun hits these panels going from east to west, I'm not really going to move these much. I used to move them all the time, and now I just kind of move them once, maybe twice at most during the day. And now as far as the solar goes, I am also facing east and west versus facing north. By facing north, this actually gives my solar arrays a better output for a full day because I have this section on the left and right that are split. And sometimes when it's facing east and west, if the sun is low enough, then the AC units will actually shade this side over here. And so then I may not get as much output consistently throughout the day. And so sometimes those are the things that will vary on how you park, will determine maybe how much output you get through the day. So let's take a look and see what we're getting. Okay, as we come up here, we'll go ahead and turn on this. So right now, this is the input. We have 1.3 coming in right now. Now this one here, this is the rear. This is going to be that section that's in series, and then this one here is going to be the one that splits side to side, and then solar number 3 all the way over here. These are the panels that are on the ground, and so you can see what we're getting out of all of them right now, being that it still is early. So we're not near anywhere what peak is going to be. And now as we take a look at the output, this is how much power I'm using is 23 watts. This is basically just the system only. Nothing else is on except for the system and whatever type of draw I'm getting on the RV. Now when you have systems like this, if you have a battery system and more, and you come down here and have your inverter off, you're not going to be making like a loop power. You're not going to be taking solar, charging up your batteries, then taking your batteries to recharge your house batteries. So always leave this off and try to charge your house batteries just with either 1 solar panel or 2, or depending on your setup, because this can just make a continuous loop and just keep draining. So if we turn this on, we should see our wattage now come up a little bit. And my battery is already pretty charged, so I'm not using much power at the moment. Really, these 20 watts or 30 watts that we might be using are pretty much the lights at the moment. So if I turn these lights off, we'll go down here, turn these 2 off. You should see, there we go. So now it drops down. So instead of using just your battery and charging things up, you're going to be using your converter. And this is just making a loop basically. It's always running and drawing power. If we shut this off, we're not using the converter and wasting power. And so there's another 20 to 25 watts. And of course, the more stuff you use, the higher that's going to go up. So these are now powered off the house battery, of course, and the house battery is being charged with solar. And now the next thing is that you can run your refrigerator on auto. This will kick it over to electric. So we'll go back over there and take a look. And now as we come back over here, the fridge is now pulling about 350, 345 watts. That's what it normally pulls. And because some of these refrigerators are so inefficient, that thing will run all day and even most of the night. When you run them on propane, they work so much better if you have one of the electric and propane fridges. Now that we've seen just how much the fridge is using, here's an idea of how much time it's going to take to charge. So 7 hours to charge, we're at 60%. And these are my batteries, all 3 of them. Each one of these is 5 kilowatt hours, so I have 15 kilowatt hours total, plus just a small house battery. So now that you've seen how much a refrigerator draws just on electric, we'll turn that off and turn on a couple other things just so you can see how much power they are going to use. Okay, electric water heater. If you have one of these are really nice, especially if you're at an RV park or somewhere else. I've used this a lot of times just on my batteries. I will actually run it on propane and electric, get it heated up real quick, then run it on electric, and it only kicks on and off once in a while. So if we go over here, we'll turn this on, and we'll hit the on button. There it goes. Now we go up here. Look at how much power that's drawing. That is only that. So it's drawing about 1450, 1480 watts just for the electric heater alone. And if you have one of these, make sure it's always filled with water, because you can burn them up if they're dry. They will just burn right out and boom, it's gone. And then you'll get an error code, of course. But that's just giving you an idea of how much an electric water heater will draw. Now, once it heats up, it's going to shut off. And so this is where you'll save power again. And I have seen it not come on sometimes for at least 6 hours, depending on how hot or how cold it is outside. So that's just kind of giving you an idea of what your electric water heater uses in your RV. So now we'll go turn something else on. Okay, so now, of course, AC unit. A lot of people want to run their AC units. So just to show you that it is off 23 watts, we'll go ahead and turn on our main AC unit. This is a 15K with a soft start. So there it goes, 75, 76 degrees in the room, 70 there. And there goes the fan, and there goes the rest, and away it goes. Now at the moment, it's only drawing about 1100 watts, but it is not very hot outside. We are looking at temperatures about 80 degrees out, and it will get hotter, and I'll show you what it looks like later after this thing has been running, because you will see just the main AC unit in here, it will draw 1800 watts, give or take. A little bit less, maybe a little bit more. But once it's fully up and running and it's really hot outside, you'll see this thing just drawing a bunch of power. Okay, now here we are just a little over 5 minutes later from 1.2 to 1.4. And again, it's going to go higher than that. And just to show you, I'm only on low at the moment. Now, if we look at the time, it now says 1 day, 58%. But look how much we're bringing in at the moment. Even though we have all this solar, because it's still early in the day, because of our angles and everything. That's why over paneling is so huge. You have to when it comes to RVs, because they're just so inefficient, you know, with the AC units up there, vents and more. I've had really great numbers out of this setup. I've seen 2.1 as a peak, and I will see anywhere from 1800 watts, give or take, on my better days. It all depends again on temperatures, angles and more. So just to kind of show you that over paneling is really something you should think about when it comes to RVs, if you can, if you have the space. Okay, so front AC, this is a 13.5K AC unit, also has a soft start. So we'll turn it on low fan. We're gonna let it sit there for just a second. And then I'll turn this on low cool. And let's go take a look back over here just so you can see. Here we go. So everything else is off. This is just that front AC unit, and it's now kicked on. And so this one, when it gets really hot outside, this one I've seen draw as much as 1200, but normally 1150 is about the most I'll see. So right now it's not too bad. And just for a trick, I will run that AC unit most times all day long. That's how I will keep my RV cool. And I'll put a fan on the ground, and that'll just blow the cool air all the way into here. And it does a great job at keeping this into the upper 70s, which is bearable, especially in an RV. That's something you can deal with. There are times it will get into the low 80s, but then after the peak of the day, it'll start cooling off again. And of course, I will still have plenty of power. So you can see we're still going up 900. It's only been, what, another minute or so. But again, that's going to go up. And I'm going to show you again what this looks like later in the day, just to show you how much more solar we're going to get and how much more power we're going to draw. Okay, so back outside real quick, because we are now getting to basically our top solar radiance for the day. The wind's actually kicked up a little bit, so at least it's a little bit breezy because it is hot. It's about 96, 97 right now, gonna peak out at about 100 today. And I just put this little thermometer out here a minute ago, and it's already jumped up to 89.2. So I told you it was pretty hot, so this isn't always the best conditions either when it comes to trying to get your best solar numbers. So great day for the lake, not so great for getting the best solar numbers that you can, or at least, you know, output numbers. Okay, now as we go back, because I'm not running anything, you can see we're about 76% charged now. So this would be great for later so I can turn on my AC units. And this is what's going on with our solar. So this one here, sorry, earlier I was actually wrong. This is number one. This is the one in the very back. This is the one that's split, and this is the one that's on the ground. So those are two 400 watt panels getting baked out there along with everything else. Almost 2 kilowatts coming in right now with everything involved. We would be a little bit less if we didn't have the ground panels deployed. But now let's just take a look, because this is a 3600 watt system. So I can run basically 2 AC units, and that's about it. And then nothing else is going to work. Okay, so there is just the number one AC running. That's the 15K. We're going to turn on the second one now. And low fan. And we'll go to low cool. And that'll take about 30 seconds. So we'll come back, we'll take a look. And there it goes, already up and going pretty quick. So look at that. So we are now using more power than we are bringing in, even though we have all this solar, because of our angle is horrible. We have some shade up on top, so we're not getting power out of the 3 panels that are over there, or at least a little bit anyway. And so now you can see 12 hours, 37 minutes roughly, going down pretty quick as it starts to kind of equal out. But this is just how much power we're using and how much we're trying to get from the sun. And as it goes down, this is only going to go down as well. So it just comes to show you, just running AC units is a real hard deal. Now again, what I would be doing is running the number one AC up there, having a fan blowing it this way, and if I needed more power, I would still go use a generator for a little bit and recharge my batteries. That way I could use this in the evening and not disturb my neighbors, and that way I could have excess power for the evening and keep this thing cool, and also overnight. So this is one of the problems with trying to get so much solar. Everybody wants to be able to run everything, and honestly it's just not possible to do everything. You have to kind of pick and choose what you want, because I'm almost maxed out. I have another 1,000 watts roughly, but this is going to go up a little bit more. This will be 2.8, 2.9 soon, so I could probably, well, actually I can't. I couldn't even run my microwave because I'm limited to 3,600 watts on this. So I'm pretty much almost maxed for what I could do. I could run my fridge still, but you know, then again, I'm going to be out when I could just burn a little bit of propane. That'll be super cheap. And here's just a quick look again of each array. And there is my little fan that turns left and right. I also have a DC fan that I use, which is really nice. I'll use that at nighttime when I turn everything off, because I'll turn off the AC power if I don't need the AC, and I'll end up just using a DC fan, which kind of looks like this. This is a little venti fan. These things are great. They actually hold a lot of battery power. They have a remote so you can turn them on and off, and they oscillate and have a little night light. They're pretty darn nice. They're a little expensive, like 60, 70 bucks, but they work good. And just to show you what it looks like at about 4 p.m., we're pretty much even as far as what's coming in, what's going out. And when you take a look at the temperature, here is 81. Now, I would start your AC unit early. I normally start it around 9:30. That way you don't have to catch up. It keeps your whole trailer much cooler. Versus if you started around noon or 1, you're kind of fighting a losing battle. So turn your AC ons early if you're a little bit newer to RVing and stuff. But that's just another little tip. A little DC fan like that, or the AC fan, either one, something like that to just move the air. And again, I can run this pretty much all day and still have plenty of power into the night. Now I hope this video gave you a little bit of a general idea of how much solar, how much batteries you might need to be able to run the components in an RV. As you can see, just trying to run one AC unit can consume a lot of power. So when you're getting ready to build your RV and put solar into it and batteries, this might be something you want to consider, as a big power system can be pretty expensive versus a generator. Well, it's still pretty cheap. But the best option really is having a generator and a small battery system. That way you're not always running your generator all the time. I hope this video helped, and I hope to see you in another one.